Hi everyone, this is Stella and welcome to Stella Music Theory. Today we are going to go over some exercises from Chapter 3 in the Grade 1 Discovering Music Theory workbook. Let's get started. Today we are going to start with Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is about rhythm. In this chapter you will learn about the demisemiquaver starting on an upbeat, duple, triple, and quadruple time, as well as grouping notes and rests. Let's start with the demisemiquaver. The demisemiquaver is one of the shortest time values used in music notation. It has three tails or three beams when it is part of a group. In grade 2, we learned that when the note has two tails, it's a semiquaver, and if we add one more tail to it, it becomes a demisemiquaver. And the demisemiquaver rest looks like this with three of these to match with the three tails. There are 8 demisemiquavers in a crotchet, so each demisemiquaver is worth 1/8 of a crotchet beat or half a semiquaver. Let's take a look at the box here on the right. At the top here we have a crotchet, which is 1 beat. And we can split the crotchet into 2 equal halves. Each half would be a quaver. The quaver would be half a beat. So if you split the quaver into a half, it would become a semiquaver with 2 tails. Each semiquaver would be a quarter of a beat. And if you split the semiquaver into a half, it becomes a demisemiquaver, which is 1/8 of a beat. And we can see that in a crotchet there are 2 quavers, 4 semiquavers, and 8 demisemiquavers. Like quavers and semiquavers, demisemiquavers can be grouped together using beams. They can also be beamed with quavers and semiquavers, and with dotted quavers and semiquavers. Here are some common groupings. Let's take a look at them together, starting with this one. Here we have a group of 4 demisemiquavers, and 4 demisemiquavers has the value of 1 quaver, so this is a quaver. Next here we have a dotted note with 2 demisemiquavers. Now if we split this into a half, we'll see that the first note is a dotted quaver, and the second half would be 2 demisemiquavers. 2 demisemiquaver would be the same as 1 semiquaver. And if you take a look at, remember here, a dot after a note adds on half its value. So a dotted quaver, let's write it here. So a dotted quaver would be a quaver plus a half of a quaver, which is a semiquaver. So here, this is a quaver plus a semiquaver. And there is another semiquaver here from the 2 demisemiquavers. So altogether, we have the value of a crotchet here. Next, we have these 2 notes. Again, the first note is a dotted note. It's a dotted semiquaver, followed by a demisemiquaver. So the dotted semiquaver would be a semiquaver plus a demisemiquaver. Then if we add the demisemiquaver, which is the next note, together we have a value of a quaver. Next, we have these 5 notes here. The first note is a quaver, and the next 4 notes, they are demisemiquaver. The 4 demisemiquaver make 1 quaver, so there are 2 quavers altogether, which make a crotchet beat. For the last group, there's a rest. The rest is a demisemiquaver, After that, we have 3 demisemiquaver notes. So there are a total of 4 demisemiquavers here, which make 1 quaver beat. Before we move on to exercise 1, I'm going to tell you a trick on working with dotted note if you find it confusing. For example, let's say we have a dotted quaver here, followed by a semiquaver. What you can do is you can cross out the dot, and when you cross out the dot that follows the first note, you have to cross out 1 beam from the note after it. So I'm going to cross out this line here, which is the second beam. So now you can see that there are only 2 quavers, and 2 quavers would just be the value of 1 crotchet. So this and this together is the same as a crotchet. Same idea, if we have a dotted semiquaver this time, so dotted semiquaver has 2 beams, then the note after it would have 3 beams, which is a demisemiquaver. Again, if you cross out the dot, you have to cross out 1 beam from the second note. Now you can see easily that there are 2 semiquavers, which is the same as 1 quaver. So this is just the same as 1 quaver. Let's take a look at exercise 1 together. Add a number in each box to complete these sentences. Question A. A semiquaver is equal to how many demisemiquavers? Semiquaver is this note with 2 tails, and demisemiquaver is this one with 3 tails, and there are 2 demisemiquavers in each semiquaver. Question B. A minim is equal to how many demisemiquavers? This is a minim. Minim is worth 2 crotchets. And again, this is demisemiquaver. In each crotchet, we just talked about it earlier, there are 8 demisemiquavers. So in a minim, there are 16 demisemiquavers. Question C. A dotted crotchet is equal to how many demisemiquavers? Dotted crotchet would be a crotchet with a dot, which is the same as crotchet plus the dot is a half of a crotchet, which is a quaver. So a crotchet plus a quaver. In the crotchet, there are 8 demisemiquavers, and in the quaver, there are 4. So when we add them together, there are 12 demisemiquavers. Question D. 2 quavers are equal to how many demisemiquavers? So 2 quavers, this is 1 quaver, this is another quaver. 2 quaver is just the same as 1 crotchet. We know that in a crotchet there are 8 demisemiquavers. Question E. 3 semiquavers are equal to how many demisemiquavers? 3 semiquavers. So this is 1 semiquaver, 2 semiquavers, 3 semiquavers. Each semiquaver can be split into 2 demisemiquavers. So 3 times 2, there are 6 demisemiquavers. And you can try the challenge at the bottom here. Practice writing demisemiquaver notes and rests here. So the demisemiquaver note has 3 tails, and the rest have 3 of these. Let's turn to the next page. Remember, the bottom number of the time signature tells you whether the beat is measured in crotchets, quavers, or minims. If the bottom number is a 4, means crotchet is 1 beat. The bottom number is a 2, it means minim is 1 beat. And if the bottom number is a 8, it means quaver is 1 beat. So you can try to do the challenge. Can you make up a rhythm in 4/4 time that uses some demi-semi-quaver notes and rests? Write it below. Let's take a look at exercise 2 together. Number the beats and then circle the correct time signature for each melody. So here we have to number the beats at the bottom and then circle the correct time signature for each melody. Question A is done as an example. There's a crotchet at the beginning, which is beat 1. Then there are 8 demi-semiquavers. 8 demi-semiquavers make 1 crotchet, so there's another crotchet here. We write number 2 here for beat 2. Then there's a bar line, so we have to stop counting there. After the bar line, there's a group of 2 quavers, which is 1 crotchet, so beat 1. And the quaver notes and the quaver rest together make beat 2. So in every bar, there are 2 crotchet beats. The answer is 2/4 time. Question B, it starts with a crotchet, which is beat 1. The first note is always beat 1. Then there are 8 demi-semi-quaver notes, which is another crotchet beat. Let's just keep looking. Then there are 2 quavers. Quavers make another crotchet. Then bar line. So looks like there are 3 crotchet beats in every bar. Let's continue on to the second bar. It starts with a minim. And in the minim there are 2 crotchet beats, so beat 1 and beat 2. Then the crotchet rest would be beat 3. Since there are 3 crotchet beats in every bar, the answer would be 3/4 time. Question C. If you look at question C, you will notice that there is only 1 bar of music here. There's a double bar line at the end. Now we see that there are 2 crotchets, so let's say crotchet, crotchet. Then the minim is worth 2 crotchets. And the demi-semiquavers, 8 of them together, would be another crotchet. And the 2 quavers at the end would be another crotchet. So let me put in these 2 crotchets as well. Now if you count the number of crotchets, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 crotchets together. Well, it will translate to 6/4 time, but we haven't met any 6/4 time. So we're going to use minim as a unit. If we use minim as a beat, this will be the first minim beat. This will be the second minim beat. And these 2 together would be the third minim beats. So there are 3 minim beats together. The answer will be 3/2 time. So I'm going to write the beats. This is beat 1. This would be beat 2. And this would be beat 3. Question D. Here we have 4 demi-semiquavers, which is the value of a quaver. Then this is a quaver. And this is another quaver. Bar line. So looks like there are 1, 2, 3 quavers in each bar. So this is beat 1, this is beat 2, this is beat 3. And for the second bar, there are just 3 quavers. So 1, 2, 3. 3 quavers would be 3/8 time. Let's take a look at question E. There are lots of dotted notes in this question, and it might look confusing. We're going to look at them like this. So these 3 notes are beamed together. So we have to look at them as one group. Here we have a dotted quaver and 2 demi-semiquaver. So all together, they make one crotchet beat. If you remember the trick I told you earlier, when you see dotted note, you can cross out the dot. When you cross out the dot from the first note, you have to cross out one beam from the next note or next group of notes. So you will end up seeing one quaver with two semiquavers, which is just one crotchet beat. So this is beat 1, and we have the same pattern here. This is the same rhythm as the first beat. So this is again a crotchet beat. So that's beat 2. Then these 4 notes are beamed together, so we're going to look at them together as a group. Here again, if we do the same trick, cross out the dot, cross out one beam, and cross out the dot here, and then cross out the beam here as well, we will see 4 semiquavers. 4 semiquavers is the same as one crotchet. So this is a crotchet beat, beat 3. The last 2 notes, they are just quavers. So 2 quavers is one crotchet beat as well. So that's beat 4. So there are only 4 crotchets here in this bar, and the answer would be 4/4 time. This is the end of today's tutorial. If you like my video, do subscribe to my channel so you get updates on any upcoming videos. See you next time!